So can one wrong click actually change your entire life? It's a terrifying thought, right? We really need to start by establishing the relatable vulnerability of just innocent curiosity. The user in our source material was just like anyone else who's ever heard those whispered rumors about the dark web. You know, that wild, unregulated place where theoretically anything can be found. Driven by pure curiosity, they managed to track down a website that absolutely does not exist on any normal search engine. They thought they were completely safe, safely hidden behind their screen, merely browsing a digital listing for something called Item 308. They totally assumed they were just this invisible observer taking a quick peek into the digital abyss. But man, that assumption, that was their very first mistake.
And this is the exact moment the descent truly began. Initially, the user just thought they'd stumbled into some kind of elaborate, harmless hacker prank. But then their entire computer system began to slow down to an absolute crawl. It was literally as if the machine itself was struggling against this heavy, unseen weight. And then an ominous message just cuts through the darkness of their screen. You are now connected. Notice the phrasing there? It doesn't say connection successful or welcome. It says you are connected. It's deeply personal and just incredibly invasive. At this exact second, the user realized they'd made a massive mistake, but they were already completely locked in.
Immediately after that connection was established, the screen didn't load up a product page or some underground forum. Instead, a live video feed just violently flickers to life. The source material describes a chilling visual, a pitch-dark room, a single chair, and a man sitting right in the center, staring directly into the camera lens. And the most unsettling detail here? His hands weren't tied. There were no physical restraints holding him to that chair at all, but the sheer, raw terror in his eyes was unmistakable. He was silently begging for help. The tension in that moment is just palpable. You're staring at a man in a live feed, and he is staring right back at you, utterly paralyzed by fear.
Suddenly, a chat box pops up, totally cutting through that silent, terrifying staring contest with a message. You open the listing. You are no longer an observer. Imagine the sudden, sickening drop in your stomach reading those words. This message dramatically raises the stakes at the entire encounter. It completely shatters that invisible wall between the safety of the user's bedroom and the horrors of the dark web. It's the system's way of explicitly signaling that, hey, this is not a passive movie you're watching. You have actively triggered something, and the rules of the game have just fundamentally changed.
And this perfectly illustrates the horrific realization that immediately washed over them. They thought they were just browsing to buy an item, right? Or at least taking a look at a product, maybe a piece of software or some forbidden file. But this game wasn't about e-commerce at all. It was a hunting ground, and they were quickly becoming the item. They weren't there to observe or buy something, they were the target. That man in the video wasn't the merchandise. He was the bait.
Now, let's break down how this escalated into an absolute technical nightmare, as the user completely lost control of their own hardware. First, the system slows down to a crawl, basically trapping them in the environment so they can't easily exit. Second, and this is truly panic-inducing, the mouse cursor begins to move completely on its own. The physical boundary of their hardware had been fully breached. And third, without any prompt or permission whatsoever, a target file begins to download directly onto their machine. The whole illusion of being the master of your own computer was entirely shattered in just a matter of seconds.
So the absolutely crucial point here is what that downloaded file actually contained. As the file finished downloading, the website somehow managed to completely bypass every single shred of their digital security. It tracked their location, their IP address, their identity, and then it displayed this exact file name on their screen, User Profile U. And along with it, the website actually displayed the user's real-world name right there in the chat. The emotional tension here is at its absolute peak, highlighting a total, uncompromising violation of privacy. The anonymity of the internet, the very thing the dark web promises, was flipped and weaponized right against them. The system didn't just know someone was there, it knew exactly who they were. And guys, here comes the chilling twist. That silent, terrified man on the live feed, the one sitting in the dark room, he finally speaks. He says, I came here out of curiosity too, but now every new user takes my place. That man wasn't a hostage of some cartel or gang. He was a previous victim of this exact same digital trap. He had clicked the exact same link out of the exact same curiosity. And the only way he was ever going to be allowed to go free, the only way his personal nightmare would end, was if the system found a replacement. He was just sitting there, waiting for someone exactly like our user to take his spot. Then, the absolute climax of this terrifying encounter locks onto the screen. A massive, high-contrast countdown timer just appears out of nowhere. 3 minutes. And right above it, a blaring warning. New observer incoming. The suspense here is just suffocating. This wasn't just some random timer. It was an unavoidable ticking clock signaling the transfer of the curse. The system was giving our user exactly 3 minutes to realize that their fate was sealed, counting down to the exact moment their role would officially change from the one watching to the one trapped.
And as that countdown is just ticking away, the sheer panic culminates in one final, totally shocking moment. The little green light on the user's laptop suddenly flicks on. Webcam activated. Automatically, without asking for any permission, the user's own webcam turns on. The live feed on the screen, which previously showed the man in the dark room, violently switches. The user is now looking at a live broadcast of their own face sitting in their own room. The digital had literally become physical. They were now broadcasting live to the darkest corners of the web, forced into the exact same position as the man they had pitied just a few minutes before.
Then comes the final, devastating blow from that chat box. Welcome to item 308. Now you are the next part. The trap had sprung fully shut. The observer had successfully and tragically become the prey. Our user was now officially item 308, doomed to sit there, trapped in this digital observation room, watched by thousands of unseen eyes, until the very next innocent, curious victim dared to click that exact same hidden link.
So let's quickly summarize the core takeaways from this explainer because they are incredibly important. First, the fragile illusion of internet safety. The surface-level innocence of the web is really a lie. Your safety is incredibly fragile online. Second, the undeniably high cost of unchecked curiosity. In this environment, curiosity didn't just kill the cat, it literally made the cat the next exhibit. And finally, the reality of the point of no return. There are actual places in the digital world where once you cross the threshold, turning back is simply impossible. Share this explainer to warn your friends before they make the exact same fatal digital mistake.
Which honestly leaves us with one final, deeply unsettling thought. Where will your curiosity take you? The next time you find yourself digging just a little too deep, maybe hovering over a link you know you probably shouldn't click, remember item 308. Remember that on the other side of that screen, someone or something might be waiting for you to take their place. Until next time in this explainer, stay vigilant and please stay safe out there.